What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this month's Market of the Moment for the month of November. If you don't know who I am, my name is Austin Acid, and I am here with
Sean Stewart.
Yeah. Today we'll be going over, like I said, November Market of the Moment. We'll be recapping the previous months, things like inventory, current home prices, and kind of give a forecast where the next months are headed, and we have an idea of the overall trend of the real estate market. I'm sure you're hearing things like home prices are on the rise. This is a crazy market. It's a seller's market. With this data and information, hopefully you'll be able to get see things for yourself and come to a conclusion and get a better understanding of where this market's really at.
Yeah, Austin, I like to think that you and I at Stewart Team Homes here at Keller Williams, that we almost act as local market economists. You hear all the noise out there of what the market is, because it is a crazy market. It's different than we've seen in a long time. And it's just continued to become lesser inventory, and a lot of buyer demand. And we'll work through that, in our some of the graphs that we're going to show. But I really believe you and I, we've got really our finger on the pulse of what's happening here. And so let's share that with everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump right into things, beginning with the current market inventory.
Yeah, so fourth quarter cool down. Is it a cool down? Well, it is if you consider the market was white hot, as hot as it could ever get. And now it's just really hot. So it's a seller's market, the craziest seller's market we've ever seen. Well, it still is. Is there great buyer demand? Yeah, there's still great buyer demand. So cool down, we're going to see a little bit of that. And Austin, I think you'll go over that in regards to seasonality and, year over year, and just kind of trends that we see. You can take it back 5-10 years and we see the same trends. But right now, year over year, we have slightly less homes on the market. Okay. It's almost insignificant, but if you could see, the for sale light green that Austin's highlighting for us, there's slightly year over year, slightly less. And you can see it's dramatically declined since we go back 2 years ago. And, back then when we had 15,000 homes on the market, well, now we're looking at, 7,000 homes. So we have less than 50%. We have 55% in essence, less homes available. Yet the new listings are still higher year over year than they were. Well, they're about the same. They're about the same than they were a year ago. But you can see how they've really grown from, the beginning of this year all the way to hit its high point in midsummer. And now it's leveling off. But the crazy thing is, the biggest difference maker that I see is the extremely high demand, which over 16% higher than a year ago in the amount of properties that are going under contract. So the pending homes that were up for sale and that have gone under contract is higher this past month of October 2021 by 16% than it was a year ago. And it's the highest, if you look all the way back 2 years, it's the highest pending amount of homes for one single month in over 2 years. So what does that tell us? Are buyers running to the market before interest rates go up? Are buyers running to the market so they can get into a house and close on it prior to the end of the year for tax advantages? I'd say both of those might have an influence. Are buyers running to the market because they're tired of paying really high rent? That's another reason. So is it a good time to buy? We're going to discuss that a little bit later. Is it a good time to sell? We're also going to discuss that. So right now we're looking at a market that is maybe not white hot. It's cooled down a little bit. It's just red hot. So let's see what we got in the next screen. We're looking at the for sale and then the solds. There's always a pretty decent differentiation between the average price of the for sales that we have. The average active price is at $271. That's a green line in October, and the average sold price is at $216. Well, that average sold price of $216, it's we don't have well, we do. We have a 7.5% year over year for the month of October 20th. We have had properties go under contract over this past year. And if you look at the average, we've averaged almost 18% higher average sale prices than we did in 2020 for the entire year of 2020 compared to what we've sold so far this year in 2021. 18% increase for the average sale price. That's equity. That is equity. You could have bought your house 2 years ago and sell it today and probably make money on it, unless it was a special loan with zero down or something like that. It's a market that you really need to take advantage of. How much equity do you have, and should it be placed in a different house possibly for you? But anyway, we still have strong sales, and you can see how those sold prices, that graph has gone up, over the past, 2019, 2020 to 2021 right now where we're at. All right. What we got next? Average price per square foot. Now, this is kind of a crazy number, because you can put, really high average price per square foot in a small square footage home, or low average price per square foot in a very large home. But it's a nice indicator of where the market is. We've got the average price per square foot, and it's a multiplier that doesn't work just across the board. It's a general rule of thumb. I was going to say kind of like a Zestimate, but we don't want to go there. It's actually more accurate than that. Let's go to the next screen. This is sale price to original list price. That green line it's hovered around 100 in 2019 and 2020, kind of 98%, 99% list price to sale price ratio. And then we jumped in 2021 up to over 100% list price to sale price. The original price, then the offer comes in and it sells at over 100% the list price. That is on average, month in, month out, for just about the entire year of 2021. The average continuous days on market is up, a little bit, 11. If you look at 11%. However, what I really want to look at and talk about is if you compare what we were doing last year to this year, we are selling homes 33% faster this year than we were last year. So I think rather than the month over month, or the little blip where we're going up a little bit because of seasonality, maybe, let's just look at the overall fact that houses are selling at 18% more on average and 33% more, or I'm sorry, 33% faster than they were a year ago. All right. Austin, I think it's time for you to take over.
Yeah. So to kind of recap and continue on and further the conversation of the low supply, the high demand, and where this current market's at. I pulled up the first graph up here to your left to demonstrate that there is seasonality in real estate. Okay. And this revolves around the amount of homes that go on the market and come off. Not necessarily prices, they do go up and go down a little bit, but in the amount of inventory in particular, taking a look right here around November, the month we're in, this was October, but right around October, the following months, we've seen that the number of new listings decrease. Because we live in Northeast Ohio, we have colder months. We got a time change. It gets dark sooner. We see, even in a normal, non-pandemic, non-COVID market, we have a dip, like an end of 2019. We have a dip in new listings. So with that in mind, we will probably have another dip. We'll also have a dip in the amount of homes that go under contract. This is common in both markets. Last year, when COVID was still, prominent, and you would say a little bit,
we were navigating through the unknown last year.
Yeah, we're still uncertain
a little bit more.
Things.
Yeah.
The pendants rose significantly throughout the year and dipped as well. So, we will have the number of new listings will decrease. The number of houses that pended will probably decrease as well. But so what I'm ultimately trying to get at is,
Austin, let me just, what you're saying is you could see it right last year as it decreased. The new listing blue line and the red listing pended line, they're together. Every new listing that came on the market was put under contract. And I think that's ultimately what we're going to be able to tell people, it's still a good time. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're basically without a significant crazy increase in new inventory, we're going to have the same price appreciation as we did in 2020. Just as because we have low supply and then the high demand with the low interest rates, back in 2019, over here, home prices also increased. Just, even though we had a 5% interest rate, today we have a 3%, and you may think, whoa, a 5% interest rate, that's crazy. No, that was like at 2019, that was low. This past year we got to low as like 2.75, and that was crazy, all-time low. We don't even know how banks are making money on that, but if we even stay within the range of 3 to 4%, which I predict we probably won't even go above 4% next year, we'll still continue to see home prices to appreciate, because it's not the main influential factor on the home prices is the supply and demand. Supply and demand ultimately drive the prices on houses. So earlier we pulled up that, from the month of October of 2020 to October of 21, we had about 7.5% increase in home prices that sold. And with more home buyers eager to move on from renting to get to wanting to purchase a home, this competition may also increase. We may see more competition next year. So, with having that in mind, we will have a supply dip here as we head into the Q4 and these colder months, and that's going to lead up to a 2020, the beginning of 2020. Spring is going to roll around, and it's going to be just as competitive as it was the beginning of last year. That means more
2022. Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
And that means more competition, more and higher prices. So on the next slide, I pulled up a comparison. Just Stewart Team Homes just got under contract on this house. It was listed at $370, and with the 8% year over year in mind, and what we would predict, if that buyer was to purchase that same home next year, with the 8% increase, they'll be purchasing the home at the purchase price of $400,000. Not only the purchase price will increase, but also, their interest rate's probably going to go up as well. I do predict that interest rates will go up. So, their monthly mortgage payment, I don't have the exact number for that, but you're looking at
will be higher. Taxes will be higher.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
So to kind of, recap, what we're seeing here, the month of November, recapping October, inventory is still at an all-time low, still super competitive. The nice houses that present well, that have good marketing, good pictures, move-in ready, those are going quickly. They're going to be on the market for 5 days or less, sometimes even 1 or 2 days. If the home needs cosmetic updating, if it's maybe priced a little bit too high, buyers are willing to wait. They're not willing to overpay per se for something that needs updating and maybe is priced high based on comparable home sales. So it's going to sit. So,
if anything, in regards to the cooling part that we talked about earlier, if anything's cooling off, it's the fact that you're possibly not going to see 5 offers on your property. You might only see 1 or 2. Yet you're seeing 1 or 2 good offers. Just people aren't going to be as ridiculous as they have been in the past 12 months in regards to offering, getting into bidding wars. That's kind of started slow.
And then going off that, so the prices that we're seeing now, you know, there's not going to be some dip like a lot of people were predicting, like, you know, forecasting, you know, end of 2020, like, okay, there's going to be 8,000 more houses that hit the market. That's just going to shift the market, and there's going to be a decrease in home prices. You know, that wasn't the case. You know, with inflation and having low inventory and continuing having low interest rates, these prices are here to stay and ultimately are going to increase as we proceed into the future.
Yeah, for sure. You know, last thing I really would like to say as we start to close out is, I get asked this question all the time, year in, year out, but more so a lot lately. Is right now an okay time to put my house on the market? You know, it is lower inventory, you know, and maybe seasonality, and maybe because it's cold and it's snowing and my house doesn't present itself as well. I don't know about you, but, you know, houses look pretty cheery in, you know, the December months. You know, you're getting ready for Christmas and those type of things and celebrations, and, you know, the holiday season brings that, you know, that warmth to an Ohio house. And maybe cold outside, but that warmth inside is what very often will, you know, get a buyer's eye starting to twinkle and, you know, think about making an offer on your property. I think right now, and what I've seen in past years, is an opportune time for a seller to put their home on the market, because you're able to, you know, spotlight your house. You're not just one of, hundreds and hundreds in that price bracket in June or July. Right now, you get to spotlight your house. And I'll tell you, the demand, whether we have homes on the market or not, the demand isn't changing. It's just going up. We have a glut of 25-year-old to 30-year-olds that we were looking at marketing earlier, or statistics earlier. There are so many buyers that are entering into the market that it's going to be advantageous for a seller for a long time. That's it. That's what I got.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in to this month's Market of the Moment, everybody. Be sure to like, share this video, comment, and, you know, share to all your friends and whatnot. But thanks for tuning in, and see you guys next month.
Sounds great. See you guys.